we've been talking a lot in this week, and obviously the weeks leading up to it, about the decision at the UN not to recognise statehood in Palestine. And John Jay had a real crack on Monday morning. And these prime minister sit-downs, they try and go bang with bang, bang, bang with 4 stories. And I thought, oh, yep, this is a 9-minute clip. We're not going to play it all, by the way. But this is a 9-minute clip. I'll try and find the part where they're talking about Gaza or Palestine. It's the whole thing. So John's like, nope, this is the thing we're talking about. This is the most important thing. And it's pretty compelling watching. Let's have a look.
Prime Minister, just a quick clarification. Does this government support a 2-state solution?
Absolutely, and our decision remains unchanged. It's when, not if, and we definitely support a 2-state.
It's when, not if, just not when now. That's the thing you forget. Just the when is not now, but it will be when, just not now.
State solution. We just don't think now is the right time for state recognition.
Yeah.
In order to have a 2-state solution, though, you do have to have 2 states, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, you do, and you've actually got to be able to recognise a state. And then our major issue, a major challenge, as we reassessed our position, was that when you.
I mean, sorry to say it again, but the word gaslighting is coming to mind again about this. Yes, we need 2-state solutions. Well, let's do 2 states. No, but we will, but not now. We need 2 states. Yes, let's do 2 states then. No, it's like it is a version of that same thing again.
Got Hamas in charge of large parts of Palestine as the de facto government, and they're a brutal terrorist organisation. We need to see the removal of Hamas. We also need to see more capacity building with the Palestinian Authority, and we continue to support the Palestinian Authority. In fact, we want to make sure that they've got good governance, good institutions. They're planning to run elections. We want to continue to support that. And so, you would have seen New Zealand, for example, sign up with the French and the Saudi Arabia statement. We'll continue to do that. We continue to advance the 2-state solution. We just don't think state recognition is necessary right now.
I want you to talk me through the process, because you were given 2 options. One was the option we went with, which was essentially a continuation of New Zealand's current approach. That's what Winston Peters announced on Saturday morning. But the second option, it seems to me, and I have the cabinet paper, addresses exactly the concerns, explicitly addresses exactly the concerns you just raised. And I'm going to read part of it out. Recognition of Palestine with conditions, including making clear that New Zealand's engagement with the government of Palestine, i.e. the Palestinian Authority, would continue to be conditioned on the exclusion of Hamas from present and future Palestinian government.
So they could have recognised Palestine, which would hopefully give some support to the Palestinians and the people living in Gaza, but exclude Gaza from the conversation. It's part of the advice they could have done, but Luxon's going, well, we couldn't do it while Hamas was still there. It's like, well, actually one of the possibilities was doing it while they're still there, but cutting them out of the deal. And that just goes to show, the word I used when this all came out was cowardly, how much more cowardly it actually is, and how much he's not a leader, because he will not go down a situation of nuance to find the best solution. He'll just, he or maybe his 2 colleagues will just go black and white, and so now he has to face up to the decisions made by his 2 minor parties, perhaps unknown, just speculating.
Structures and respect for Israel's right to exist in peace and security. In other words, option 2 offered you all the things you just said New Zealand wanted.
No, look, I mean, there were 2 options that we discussed, but at the end of the day, you've got Hamas as a terrorist organisation, John, in control of Gaza, a significant portion of Palestine.
So if you didn't miss that, Whānau, that was Luxon completely ignoring everything that John Campbell just said and going back to his original talking point. That was actually a pretty good sleight of hand magic trick. I don't know where that ace of spades came from. He pulled it out of nowhere. That's how good that sleight of hand just was.
No role for Hamas in any future government. You need to see them disband, disarm, renounce, and you see Palestinian leaders renounce violence and terrorism.
How is that going to happen? And isn't Keir Starmer's point exactly antithetical to you? So the UK, joining Australia and Canada in the last 10 days, has decided to recognise Palestine. 3 of our 4 Five Eyes mates have decided to recognise Palestine. Keir Starmer's justification for it, 180 degrees different from yours. It was, and I quote, "In the face of the growing horror in the Middle East, we are acting to keep alive the possibility of peace and a 2-state solution." Is he wrong?
Well, Well, the first thing I'd say, John, is each country is entitled to its independent view. We talk about an independent foreign policy, and that's exactly what New Zealand has. We have friends that have recently recognised Palestine, UK, France, Canada. We've also got friends that haven't recognised Palestine. Think about many countries in Western Europe and throughout Southeast Asia as well. So, countries will make their own determination about that.
You used the word many, Prime Minister. 157 of the 193 UN states have recognised Palestine. You don't have many on your side, do you?
John, 150 of them were recognised years ago. So it's only in recent...
Don't think that's the win you think it is, Mr. Luxon. So what you're saying is some people recognised it a decade ago and we didn't. I don't think that's the win you think it is. We're going to give this another minute or so, then we'll pull out of it. I don't have an exact time period, although I wouldn't mind finishing it, because when John wrapped up with him, it was pretty brutal at the end.
Times over the last 3 or 4 months, we've seen some others recognise. We've equally seen other countries say they're not recognising. But irrespective of whether you do state recognition or not, the main event is that we actually need to resolve that conflict in the Middle East. And how
will that happen? How will that happen?
Well, the first thing... we need Hamas to release hostages, because, John, what happened was 1,200 innocent Israelis...
Okay, and this is where we're going to probably pull out, because now they're going back to it all started on October 7th. They got to release the... Yeah, they've offered numerous times, including on about day 2, to release the hostages. This is now, honestly, this is now going back to the start, where you kind of feel like you got to say, oh, no, we denounce Hamas. We're past that. We're so past that it doesn't actually matter. Let me just get to the end. I'm going to just eyeball it and see if we can get it, because the way the interview actually finished was John Campbell talking about leadership, and it was actually, I'm looking how animated he is there. Maybe this is it. We'll just give it a play. I'm just picking it out of the air, because talking about leadership at the end, it was pretty brutal as well.
Martin Luther King and Kate Shepherd contributing to public life. None of them said we will contribute to public life when we're absolutely persuaded of the complete and utter correctness of this. Sometimes you just have to lead, don't you? And Helen Clark's point is, and she spoke to Logan Church in New York, that was a thing New Zealand used to be celebrated for doing. Are we doing it now? Does this feel like meaningful leadership by New Zealand here?
John, you may have your own prejudice and your own views about that.
Yeah, liberal. This is the Luxon school of Trump. Okay, well, who do you? Yeah, you vote Democrat, do you? I'm
asking you a question, Prime Minister. I'm asking you a question. That's my job. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so I would say yes, we've got an independent foreign policy. We genuinely went through that decision to say we will reassess and look at our position of when, not if, and if that's still appropriate. And we've confirmed that we think that is appropriate. I've said to you why. It's because we don't think recognition at this point changes anything. The main event is to get a ceasefire and to stop the suffering that's happening there, John. That's why you've seen me make very strong statements against Israel, saying it's grossly disproportionate actions. Equally, that's...
Remember, Whānau, when words and actions disagree, you believe the actions. The action here is nothing, no matter what the words are saying. He had a chance to do an action, which was to recognise statehood. He's got a chance right now to do an action, which we're all being told by people who are more intelligent than us and who are more in this world, that actually sanctions would be the best thing to do now. Those actions aren't being done. Your words aren't believed.
I made equally strong statements about Hamas and what it did, which is utterly unacceptable, either as a terrorist organisation. They're complex issues, John. There are people on society who have views very strongly held on both sides of that debate. I get that. But I think we've had a very balanced and appropriate response for that. And I think we have led, and I think we have held up our independent foreign policy.
So here's the follow-up question, which I'm not obviously criticising John Jay for. He is our journalistic god that we bow to every day. If we're leading, Mr. Luxon, who is following us? Because if you think you're showing leadership, you said we are leading. That is saying New Zealand is leading in this. Okay, who are we leading? Who's following us? Because it feels like others are running away from us and we're standing still. Typically in the running race, the person standing still is not deemed the leader.
Policy as evidenced by this decision.
There you go. Well, I know I just talked a lot there, Sunita, but we've been doing this for a long time. So I'd like to just give you an opportunity to share anything you like about this whole
this is
clusterfuck.
the first time I went completely off news and everything. I've been off for quite a few weeks. Just it's too much for me mentally, and so I just get little tidbits. And so to see that, I'm just like, what the hell? That's the person that's supposed to be leading our country, and he just talks like some suit in a boardroom, and there's absolutely no humanity or anything going on there. It's just, oh, I just don't even know where to start with it. Like, I cannot. I got no words.
But it's one of those things as well. And I guess we were talking about Winston Peters yesterday. We had Chippy on with us. And it's like, when it comes to issues of human rights, Winston Peters has been on the wrong side of them almost every time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, I'm not going to say every time because there'll be something somewhere he voted for. But, you know, whether it's homosexuality law reform, because he was around then, or whether it was, you know, same-sex marriage, not to pull out just two from the LGBT community, he's always voted against them. So if part of me goes on in hindsight, well, of course he's going to vote against us because he's always on the wrong side of history.
Yeah.
And I just, it does feel like, I don't think we have to be that little country that could. I think I can. Like always lead the way, but to be stagnant, and in some levels to be stagnant, feeling like going backwards, that just feels so foreign to me. We don't have to be, you know, that little kind of yappy dog that always jumps up and makes noise, but we also don't have to be the one that ignores the flotilla going off in the right direction either. It's just, it's a bizarre feeling. It's a bizarre place we're in.
Is going from Jacinda and how we were always praised for being trailblazers and everything, this small little country that is just, you know, doing the right things, and now we're here. We're here. I just, how can it just be so polar opposite? And we're all feeling it. Like, we're all feeling such a drastic change, and it's fatiguing. It is exhausting to live this life here in New Zealand at the moment.
And I mean, think about what you've just said, and now think about someone living in the Middle East, in Gaza. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like how much more are we lucky and blessed and, you know, by chance here, those of us that were born here and there was no reason for us to be here, finding life hard and difficult, and then think about the real problems in the world, like the actual problems.
Bombings, genocide. Like, we can't even comprehend that here. Yeah. But we're the ones making these stupid decisions about them.
Well, that's the other thing I realized when watching Winston at the UN. I went, he's representing me, because he is on the world scale and the world scene. You know, this is New Zealand's response. It's not the world doesn't look at that and go, oh, this is the coalition of chaos's response. It's like Winston Peters has just spoken on my behalf. I don't like that feeling. I don't like that feeling.
No, neither do I.